County Legislative Body's annual session. Vice Chairman Norman Smith presiding, Mayor Rob Mackey present.
Mr. Vice, will you open some prayer?
I will, sir. Heavenly Father, great God in heaven, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for each one that's here, and it's an honor to stand up here in front of you for the people of Cocke County. Thank you for this day. Thank you for loving us and taking care of us. And I ask that you'll bless each one that's sitting in this position up here, that we make good decisions for our county people. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody for coming out tonight, and the outgoing vice chair, I'll hold the meeting until the elections are held. First thing on the agenda for tonight is roll call.
Andy Ford. William Miller.
Here.
Dale Blazer.
Here.
Jason McMahon.
Here.
Norman Smith.
Here.
Jonathan Templin.
Here.
Jeff Esslinger.
Here.
Dan Bright.
Here.
Wilma Wild.
Here.
Rick Baxter.
Here.
Debbie Fairdahl.
Here.
Tim Lehman.
Here.
Billy Hudson.
Here.
Number 2 on the agenda is a matter of election of a chairman of the Cocke County Legislative Body for 2022 to 2023. Right here, motion.
I'd like to nominate Warren.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Right. Any other nomination? We have a motion to cease nominations. Do we have a second? Second. Mr. Burke. With that, all in favor of ceasing nominations and electing by acclamation, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much for your vote of confidence. 1 minute for the oath, and then we'll move on. Aye.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will perform
that I will perform
with fidelity the duties
with fidelity the duties
of the office to which I have been
of
appointed
the office to which I have been appointed,
and to which I am about to assume.
and to which I am about to assume.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to support the constitutions of Tennessee
to support the constitutions of Tennessee
and the United States,
and the United States,
and to faithfully perform the duties
and to faithfully perform the duties
of the office of chairman
of the office of chairman
of the Cocke County Legislative Body
of the Cocke County Legislative Body
for 2022 to 2023
for 2022 to 2023
for Cocke County, Tennessee.
for Cocke County, Tennessee. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Number 3 on the agenda is a matter of electing the vice chairman for Cocke County Legislative Body for 2022 2023. Do I have a nomination?
Commissioner Esslinger.
Mr. Esslinger, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other nomination? Blazer, do we have a second for that nomination? Mr. Burrow. Any other nominations? Do I have a motion to cease nominations? I'll make a motion. Okay. Mr. Burrell and Mr. Hudson. All right, with that, we will have a roll call. As we call your name, just name the commissioner that you would like to see the vice chair. Okay? So you're ready.
Andy Ford. Bill Miller. Caleb Blazer. Jason McMahon.
Wrestling.
Or I say Slinger, say that. Norman Smith. Jonathan Tinkman.
Yes, Leader.
Jeff Esslinger. Dan Brown.
Blazer.
On the wall.
Pass.
Rick Vassar.
Yes, Leader.
David Fairlaw. Tim Lehman.
Schwanger.
Joe Walton.
Commissioner Swain.
Commissioner Slanger. Gotcha.
So what's the final count?
Seven for Jeff, 3 for Galen, 2 pass, 1 out.
We do not have a majority. We're going to have to vote one more time. We do not have a majority. Even though we are short one, the majority, the state law says our official count is 14, so we must have a majority. Okay? So we're going to go through again. Call it again.
Andy Ford. Bill Miller.
Yes, Swanger.
Caleb Blazer.
I'll let Jeff have it if he wants to. Lord have mercy.
You want Jeff? Jason McMahon.
Wrestling.
Norman Smith.
This thing.
Jonathan Tinkman.
Yes, Leader.
Jeff Esslinger.
Yes, Swanger.
Dan Brown.
Blazer.
On the wall.
Esslinger.
Rick Vassar.
Yes, Leader.
David Fairlaw.
Yes, Schwanger.
Tim Lehman.
Schwanger.
Joe Walton.
Commissioner S. Swanger.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Mr. Secretary of the votes. Moving on now, number 4 is the matter of appointment or approval of Cocke County legislative body committees. I think they give it out to each district. Everybody just go ahead and take some time, pick your districts, fill that out, and when you get done, just bring it back up here. Let's go ahead and do that. Make sure that the paper you have is the right district. It should say your district up here at the top. with a landfill, we have a landfill or sanitation board, you don't need a landfill.
Are we going to incorporate that into that? Because that's that one vote a year we have to take on a 25% reduction rate. So is that going to be handled by the board now?
Yes. Is that it? Is everybody done? Turn your papers in, good deal. That's about spot to sit. Thank you. All right, let's move on. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for getting that done. Number 5 on the agenda is approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve? Oh, we have to approve it? We won't approve the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the committees we just assigned? Ms. Blazer, do we have a second? Mr. Vassar? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Those committees are approved. You need anything other than vote on those?
I got you.
All right. Number 5, approval of minutes. We have a motion to approve the last month's. Mr. Esslinger, do we have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That motion carries. Number 6, election appointments and reports. Notaries Jessica L. Bryant, Shirley L. Butler, Mason Goddard Schultz, Sarah E. Johnson. Do we have a motion to approve? Mr. Bryant, do we have a second? Mr. Vassar? Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That motion carried. Number B, in a matter of accepting the quarterly and revenue expenditure report for the Cocke County Board of Education. That copy was enclosed. Do we have a motion to approve that? Mr. Vassar, seconded by Mr. Verdon. Any discussion? Let's do a roll call.
Andy Ford. Bill Miller.
Yes.
Caleb Blazer.
Yes.
Jason McMahon.
Yes.
Norman Smith.
Yes.
Jonathan Templin.
Yes.
Jeff Esslinger.
Yes.
Dan Brock.
Yes.
Lynn LaValle.
Yes.
Rick Baster.
Yes.
David Verdall.
Yes.
Tim Langman.
Yes.
Joe Bob Hudson.
Yes.
Motion carried. In the matter of any committee reports, budget.
Okay, I know that we don't have a budget committee set in place and the budget committee don't meet. However, in your packet, there were budget amendments and transfers that need to take place in order to expedite county business. So if you have any questions that all were from the sheriff's office, I can help answer. CJ's also here. Usually those get answered during the committee, but since that wasn't taking place, I'll take any questions that you all have for those.
Anyone have any questions?
The clerical positions, are those ones that's not there anymore that you're transferring over, or?
No, what we did was, we had a clerk that actually left the sheriff's office,
Okay,
and we're actually removing that position to a deputy line item, bringing in a full-time post-certified deputy that will be a desk sergeant.
okay.
That way, instead of them having to call a deputy off patrol to come to the office every 5 minutes, he will be there to address the needs of the county by staying there, doing reports, and answering calls, phone service in the office.
Any other questions? If not, we have a motion to approve. Mr. Esslinger, do we have a second? Bunch of hands. Mr. Lane. We'll have a roll call vote.
Andy Ford. William Miller.
Yes.
Caleb Blazer.
Yes.
Jason McMahon.
Yes.
Norman Smith.
Yes.
Jonathan Templin.
Yes.
Yes.
David Virdal,
Yes.
Tim Layman,
Yes.
Joe Bob Hudson.
Yes.
Okay, next, that would normally come out of budget, our budget amendments and transfers for the school system. We do these separate. You have one transfer from the school system. It is to purchase the Newport Plaza Shopping Center. I know Casey's back there if you have any detailed questions for him. Other than that, that's all I have about.
Is there any questions on that? I know it says capital outlay, but I talked to many more late last week. It's really not a capital outlay. It's the fact that they're using COVID funds to do that. And it's how their payroll's working is really going to have to do this. But again, I think Casey's here if you've got any questions. Anybody have any questions about that? If not, we have a motion to approve. Bryant, second. Roll call, go ahead.
Andy Ford, Bill Miller,
Yes.
Gary Blazer,
Yes.
Jason McMahon,
Yes.
Norman Smith,
Yes.
Jonathan Timlin,
Yes.
Jeff Esslinger,
Yes.
Sam Bright,
Yes.
Wilma Ball,
Yes.
Rick Baxter,
Yes.
David Virdal,
Yes.
Tim Layman,
Yes.
Joe Bob Hudson.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the only other thing I have, it's kind of related to that. You all just passed the actual budget amendment. We just have to do the resolution for the same thing. And this has been sent to the state and approved by the state resolution.
So we need to pass the resolution for the budget transfer we just made. Do we have a motion to approve? Ms. Ball, we have a second. Is there any discussion or question about the resolution? If not, we'll have another roll call vote.
Andy Ford, absent. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Gary Blazer,
Yes.
Jason McMahon,
Yes.
Norman Smith,
Yes.
Jonathan Timlin,
Yes.
Jeff Esslinger,
Yes.
Sam Bright,
Yes.
Wilma Ball,
Yes.
Rick Baxter,
Yes.
David Virdal,
Yes.
Tim Layman,
Yes.
Joe Bob Hudson.
Yes.
That's all for the budget, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Landfill, thank you, I want to thank you. We're finally getting that landfill up.
That thank you really needs to go to Chandler down there. And, just not to say thank you, but we have heard from the state. The state didn't really think we was gonna get it done. I mean, in all honesty, I didn't think we was gonna get it completed, and Chandler got it done with his crew, so I mean, I'd like to really thank them for that.
Check into, Fort Plain Top down there and give them credit for credit's due.
Yes. All right, of course, there's nothing from general, nothing from public safety this month. Well, we do have an issue as far as public safety in the matter of replacing Connor Ward Williams at Civil Service Board due to his resignation. And of course, there is no longer any board members on the Civil Service Board. The CLB has until October 17th to replace or appoint a new Civil Service Board. Since this has a direct impact on the sheriff's department, do you have anything to say?
Basically, the way it works is, there is a standard policy that's in place that I presented to the current Civil Service Board that resigned September 1st. I have to send a letter to them requesting hiring and promotional based needs, and we're at that. We're down 3, and that was submitted to them, that was voted on and passed. But anything after October 17th, I have to have a 3-panel board of individuals that will take over the civil service meetings. And that's why that date's a pretty good deadline. After that, anybody leaves jail or leaves patrol, we're kind of sitting. So we need a 3-man board, 3-woman board, whatever, 29, October 17. But it has to be voted on in front of the full county commission, so as long as we got about 17, we'll be okay.
Who recommends these individuals?
A lot of times they've been doing this, people go over they go over the mayor's office or whatever they want to do is reach out to county commissioners, say we'd like to be on the board. You all come together, agree on a board, and you vote on the board. That's the only board that's voted on, as far as I know, by the full county commission. So they've been several reached out to us. We can't really give a whole lot of input on it, but, you know, there's several out there that's wanting it. But
Can you relay some of it?
do what?
Can you relay some of it?
Well, I can have them reach out to you all, if that's what you'd like to do.
Yes.
Just kind of keep it, it's supposed to be a board, you know,
Okay.
supposed to be a vice board, so.
What I would suggest is the public safety, let's go ahead and put in the paper to request resumes to be turned in. Today is, let's have resumes to be turned in by, what do you say, Gayla?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Will that give us sufficient time?
Let's give them 2 weeks to turn them in to the mayor's office and
And then
Mr.
schedule a
Mathis.
meeting after that?
Yeah, and if Mr. Madison, you can get them to the board members of public safety, set you up a meeting and bring the recommendations to the full body at the next meeting. All right? Any other discussion on that before we move on? Yes. You, right now, Taylor, are you the outgoing chair of the public
Yes.
safety? Are you on it again this time?
I am.
So she'll sit till they elect a new chairman at the next meeting, so just work with Taylor to get them that. Okay? All right, we'll move on. Purchasing, nothing. In the matter of report from the county mayor. Welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you all. That means a whole lot to me. I just want to congratulate each and every one of you for being elected to office. It was not an easy thing to do, and I know that the hard part still lies ahead for all of us. We certainly have a work cut out for us, and it's going to take each and every one of us working together to get the things accomplished that our people need us to do. Come on in.
Take care for sharing this report.
Well, as each and every one of us is aware, our county has 101 problems that need to be addressed. But the good news is, that means that we have 101 opportunities to improve our county. 101 opportunities to prove worthy of the faith that people have placed in us by electing us in office. And so what I would do is, I would ask for each of your support, and I will pledge my support to you in return. But I'd also ask that each of us always remember that when we're in here or anywhere else, that we're going to disagree. And that whenever we do disagree with one another, to always remember that to trust that the other person that we're disagreeing with has nothing but the best interest of our county at heart. And if we all have the same vision, which I think we can all agree is to bring opportunities for our county that will help to provide prosperity for our people and for our land and for our county as a whole, and to make it a better place than we found it. If we can always remember in those times when we disagree that the other person wants the same thing we do, they just have a different way of getting there than what we think might be preferable, that we keep that in mind and always treat each other with dignity, respect, and again, support one another, because the task we have before us can only be accomplished if we all work together. We have 48 meetings that we have been given 48 opportunities to make this county better. So after tonight, we have 47. So let's make each and every one of those count. I pledge to you that is exactly what I'm going to do. And I will come to work every day supporting you all, supporting people of this county. And I'm not going to waste a day, a single one, and helping move this county forward and accomplish what we need to accomplish. And if we do that at the end of this 4 years, we're going to do things that even the folks in this room that none of us can imagine. And I want to say that, again, to Commissioner Baradall and the Sanitation Board, you've gotten us off to an incredibly strong start by getting this, getting the landfill up and running. Folks may not realize that saves our county over $20,000 per month. You're talking about we're floating with $250,000 per year. That one action saved us. And one of the things I want us to commit to is we've got a lot of problems in this county. Several of the bigger problems are ones that have been multi-year, some multi-generational problems. And for us to not just band-aid those problems, but let's get those problems solved so that we can move on with the business of prospering our county. Again, I thank you all, and just God bless each and every one of you. I hope that you'll join me in continuing to pray for one another, pray for the county. May God bless us all.
Number 7, the matter report from the county attorney.
I don't have anything, but I'd like to formally introduce myself. I'm Melissa Godson, I'm the county attorney. I'm here to serve the county, so if you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to contact us. I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
I have one thing to request. Each of the CLB members, if you could please make sure that my office has your contact information, phone number, email, during this week, if we don't have it already.
There's a sheet, there's supposed to be a sheet going around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way we can.
I'll get it too.
Ooh, you got one going around too?
Don't make sure.
Okay. I want the good one.
And the matter report from county commissioners, if any. That'll change. And again, I appreciate the vote of confidence as chairman. One thing I would like to say is, we will go by the Robert's Rules of Order, so if you're not familiar with that, get familiar with it. We're going, as Mr. Mathis said, I just want us to treat one another with respect, ask to be recognized on the floor before you speak, and let's not talk over one another, okay? And let's all just be ladies and gentlemen. All right? Number 9, in the matter of report from county partnership, that copy was enclosed. And in consideration of appointing a county commissioner to serve on the board of directors for Newport Cocke County Economic Development Commission and Cocke County Partnership. Mr. Clevenger was on that board. Of course, with the outcome of the election, we have to appoint a new person to sit on that board. Mr. Burdock.
I'd like to nominate Ms. Grissom. This is the proper time.
Nobody's going to get to that, but I'll take that. Do we have a second? Mr. Rist, do we have any other nominations to sit on that board? It is an important board. We will have your finger on the pulse of everything that's going on for the
And this is to fill the expired term of Mr. Clegg.
It is. It is. Any other nominations?
How long was that term?
1 year. 50 years.
Yeah, June 30th. Any other nominations? Do we have a motion to cease nominations? Mr. Burdock, Mr. Bryant? All those in favor of ceasing nominations say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. All those in favor of Mr. Estinger that sit on the board say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Estinger.
Mr. Chairman, may I introduce myself?
You can.
Thank you, sir. My name is Jennifer Brown. I am here tonight to represent the Cocke County Partnership. Our president, Mr. Lucas Graham, is not here this evening. He was committed to the governor's conference on economic and community development and national this week. But we would like to just welcome all of you, and we are very much looking forward to serving with each and every one of you. I work with Lucas in the economic development department. We do have 3 other departments, in case you're not familiar. We have the Chamber of Commerce, and our director, Lynn Ramsey, is here tonight to introduce herself as well. We have the Tourism Development Department and C5, our newest department that we added last year as an early education component. I just wanted to say thank you and welcome, and we look forward to working very closely with all of you.
And I would encourage anybody, if you have an opportunity to go meet with Lucas, Ms. Brown, they'll be more than happy to talk to you about what's going on, things that's happening. Number 10, a matter of report from Priority Ambulance Service. That copy was enclosed. Number 11, a matter of report from Cocke County Beautiful. That copy was enclosed. Any questions on either of those? Number 12, a matter of report from Friends of the Animal Shelter. There was no report. Of course, that needs to be taken off the agenda.
But the sheriff, you have some comments, Mr. Ball.
I brought Gary Courthouse with me too, because he's a lot smarter than I am when it comes to this stuff. Basically what's going on is, right now, you do not have an animal shelter in place. So we have an animal control officer that is responding to calls. We've got dogs running everywhere, we've got cats, we've got everything. We have nowhere to take them. So we're catching a lot of heat because we're not removing animals, aggressive animals from the property of others. It's going on everybody else's land. So the problem we're coming into is, it's not, we can't take them nowhere. So that's just an issue that you all have adopted, unfortunately, that we're gonna have to come up with a plan in place. That's why I have Gary here to say, he's trying to explain to the city, was working on something to help us, but they've had issues of their own. And it's not really their responsibility at this time, but we've got to figure out what's the direction we take for these animals. We've reached out to Greene County, we've reached out to Jefferson County. No one has any room to take any animals of ours. And they're running all over the place. I don't think we can do cider in court, they put your dog up 10 days. And that's kind of where we're at. I just want to let you know, we have nowhere to take any animals. You all will probably start catching heat too, if your phone number gets publicized on the Facebook. But you'll be able to catch some of that. But, you know, there's not, we can't give them no direction if we don't know where to put it. And I sure don't want to say it's county commissioner's fault, because it's not. Okay, it's something you all just got to figure out how we're going to fix. But Gary may have something for us that'll help us temporarily.
I don't know what I got for you. So this is the best solution that we've talked about, that the city of Newport can partner with you all on. This is, of course, the council has to agree with the contract. I'm not authorized to make anything. This is informal. The informal talks have gotten us this far. Once we are back into the animal control building, the old Freddy's building, corner of Main and Woodlawn, we will have added capacity from what we have now. Now, it is not enough to take in every stray dog in the county to have drop-offs from county residents. It's not enough for every call the animal control officer gets to grab them and bring them down. We just don't have the capacity yet. So it would be temporary aid until we can construct a new facility, which has been our intent the entire time. The building there in the corner was temporary whenever the then regime with the animal shelter approached us and said, this is the deal, I won't get into it. But they said that we could get out, so we did. That's a temporary fix. 2020 slowed down our plans a little bit. We're back on track with it. But here's what I got to throw out there. Our intention is to construct a building big enough. If you've been to Greene County, this is how they do it. City and county animal control operate out of the same facility. Shared space, it saves costs. It's big enough so that whatever they bring in, they're there for 7 days. They do adopt out of that animal control building, and then the animal shelter there will basically then takes what they don't release back, not release, but adopt out after 7 days, or the owner doesn't reclaim it. That's usually that's where most of the head stray dogs go, back to the owner. So what we're waiting on, and this has slowed us down a bit, is land that we've agreed with Blaylock on, in principle agreement with Blaylock, where the new bypass is coming through in the industrial park, a couple of acres there for the construction of the new animal control facility. That's a couple years out there, I'm talking 4 or 5, because they're not willing to part with anything until the road's finished. And that's best case scenario. So what I would like to propose, and this is for you guys to talk about and think about, is that the county-owned property that was the target for the potential jail site, since that's not moving forward at this time, even if it did, there's enough room down there to do this. But the city would be, again, in principle, I'm not speaking for the council, this is just things that we've discussed and not publicly voted on. Make an agreement with the city to sell a small bit of acreage down there so we could begin construction as soon as possible on a new facility that would house county animal control and city animal control. And then that would be the best solution to the problem, is that both entities operate one facility, share the cost for the operation of the building, and our residents, our city residents and county residents both have quality animal control services. Is that all right?
Sounds good.
All right. So, there's no formal presentation, no proposal, I don't have a survey of where exactly we were talking about. If it's something that the commission would be willing to take a step forward with, then CJ and I get paid every day to do what we do. I can communicate through him, since he is over animal control, and we can put together a proposal, and then present it to you, and then the city council has to sign, we all got to come together and agree on it. But like Mayor Mathis is talking about, it takes all work together, so this can be one big step in that direction if the county legislative body so chooses that that's the best direction for county animal control. Make any questions?
Who will control this? I'm sorry. Who will control the animal shelter?
It's, okay,
The city
so
or the county?
it would be a joint agreement contract, and we wouldn't call it just for betterment, good terms, and we don't want to get, the city does not want to get in the animal shelter business. And this is sort of the thing that I ran into when I have to discuss it with animal shelter people that don't agree with it. We have to run it like a government would run a service. We can't, the citizens should not have to, because every citizen cares if every animal, goes to this animal senior citizens home and lives a good life. Nobody wants to adopt it. We have to run it like a service. So the service is to, someone surrenders an animal, you keep it for a reasonable amount of time, and then you work with your shelter groups, your rolling rescue, your fosters. The fosters in the city have a great working relationship. It's very rare that we bring an animal in that they can't find a home for. So it would just be whatever we negotiated as far as sharing costs for bills, sharing, who's over what. I think it's just that's your side, this is our side. I know that right now the county animal control and city animal control work with each other, so if they need county needs backup, our guys go, same thing. We sometimes, because we've got two, the county's only got one, so probably do well to hire another one at some point, but sometimes it's dangerous to go on a call by yourself, so they back each other up. It would just be whatever we came up with, whatever my council was good with, whatever the CLB was good with on agreements for, who turns out the lights at night, who's got a key. That's sort of what you're talking about, correct?
Pretty much.
Okay, yes, sir.
What kind of acreage ballpark are you talking about?
We would need no more than 2 for this. Because it would be, the building we have is big enough for both, but we don't need something you can park an airplane in. It'd just be something big enough for both of us to operate, and what the daily, or not daily, but the monthly intake and output would handle. Yeah.
Mr.
Can you see my shirt?
Mr. Carver, would this be a low kill, no kill, some kill, what kill?
It's 7 days, and then we don't have you wouldn't have a policy on that. The policy would be to provide animal control services for the residents of Newport and Cocke County.
But money's got to be the factor on this.
Yes, you
can't keep
you have a policy on, yes, you have a policy on how long the animal stays in your custody, and then, and the only exception would be, you can see better this, if it's a criminal case, they have to stay longer, but that's the exception.
Yeah.
Because you're legally bound to take care of them until the court case, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are we obligated as CLB members to announce whether it's a kill or a non-kill?
No, sir, because it's not viewed as a shelter. It's just an animal control facility. Yeah. I mean, the policies would be made public, but just that stigma of kill or no kill, because it's not a shelter. So it's just, you'd have policies on how long an animal was kept there, and then, I think probably publicly you list all the groups that you do business with because of the monetary exchange.
And I'll make one comment too. As CLB members, we are responsible for the public safety of our citizens. That's all we're responsible for. This is a public safety issue. And You know, a lot of people think, well, as Mr. Carter said, there's some people think that we're responsible for every animal in the county. That is not. We're responsible to be good stewards of the taxpayers of this county. That's our job. And to make sure they're safe. And so we need to, that's what we got to take into consideration on anything we do here. But I would suggest, it is a public safety issue. I would suggest that you work with the Public Safety Committee on this. And so maybe, Caleb, put that on your agenda too, whenever you have your next meeting.
Now, I tried to stop coming to every stinking meeting every month.
See you next month.
Well, at least you don't have to take the phone call.
That's true.
Any other questions for the sheriff or Mr. Carter?
I got one. After the 7-day period, or whatever that time frame is, will these animals be able to go to a shelter?
Yeah. That's generally how it works. You have a good working relationship with those groups, that the nonprofit groups, that's their passion. That's what they raise money for. That's the reason that they get up in the morning and go to work at the shelter or the roll and rescue or foster groups. They do their own thing, and you basically take government function out of the animal shelter, which is used, most places it's house.
So they could possibly go to the shelter here?
If good working relationship with that shelter, they come, you know, every day they're picking up whatever animals serve their sentence with the county and city and
Yeah, Mr. Brown, go ahead.
We would have a policy in place though for euthanasia, correct?
We would have to, yes, sir. State
We
mandated.
don't need it in the method we're already.
Correct, yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
In the matter report from Cocke County Corrections Partnership, there has been no meeting there. We'll have a new committee set up after this meeting, and I guess we'll move forward after that. New business. In the matter of accepting the sheriff's policy and procedure into the minutes, the copy is available at the clerk's office upon request. It was. So it is the policy the sheriff put together.
It's on my
So you are welcome to view that if you would like, but we do have to accept it. Do I have a motion to approve the sheriff's policy and procedure? Ms. Blazer, do I have a second? Mr. Bryan. Any questions or concerns? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. In the matter of the following budget committee appointments, Norman Smith, Rick Vassar, Billy Hudson, and Mr. Trevor Cates. That's on the mayor's budget committee. Do I have a motion to approve? Mr. Esslinger, Mr. Lehman, second. Any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That motion carried. In the matter of mayor addressing the county legislative body regarding the E911 board, amending or replacing the recent resolution.
I'll make this really quick. As you all know, we had a resolution, it's kind of been an ongoing thing over the last few meetings. And it got to be something of a convoluted process where really, all that was really needed to begin with was the charter for our E911 board stated that members were appointed via position, like for example, the sheriff would be on it, the police chief would be on it, and so forth. We found out that was improper and shouldn't have been done that way. And that was, we had a resolution that addressed that, but however, the resolution went a bit far in taking folks on the board and pretty much wiping out the rest of their terms and replacing the whole board. We found out that and so but we replaced one illegality with another illegality. So after consulting with the county attorney, we concluded the best way forward. One other thing that we did after looking into it, we noted that the terms for each of the board members had become somewhat disjointed. Ideally, there are 9 members, so you would want 3 members rotating off each year. So, and those folks can be reappointed. They don't have to come off the term needs to end and begin a new term every 3 years. So we came to the conclusion that we can do this one of 2 ways. We can either amend the latest resolution to maintain the current board, get rid of the offending language on the charter, maintain the current board, and established a staggered terms for each of them at the end of their current terms, so that after 3 years, everything should be sorted out. Or you can rescind the last one and just do a fresh one stating that it's going to remove the offending language and establish that rotation. So we either need to do one of the two, either one's acceptable, it's just at the pleasure of the board which way you would rather go.
I have a question. So, I know we talked about this. Did we not have some people that were on the board that were out of term? So
Yes.
are you gonna replace those
And that's a great
that are
question.
out of term, or are you just talking about putting everybody back on there that was on there?
That's a great
Or-
question. We had, and again, that's kind of just what we joined. Some folks came on, some folks turned in a couple of years ago, some folks
Right,
turned,
so
and
I
then just
was,
been kind of hanging around. So what I plan on doing is making those recommendations for either to replace or reappoint based on the individuals, because there are about 4 or 5 people that we're going to.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, there are about 4 or 5
About,
folks. So what we're going to do is get the housekeeping done this time, and then clean slate, we're going to go forward with the nominations next month, after this is cleaned up.
Okay, so then I want to make then a motion that we just amend the resolution and do it that way. The resolution that we just passed, just amend it with those terms and stuff on it. And then going forward, we can take next month your recommendations.
I'll bring you a slate of folks to approve next month.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be the easiest way to do that since
It's up to you. Either way, it's going to be the
it's up
same.
to the board here, so I feel like we've worked on it for a while, and it might be the easiest way just to amend what we did, because we fixed it, we went, like you said, a step 2, or on the other side.
Sure. And I'll leave that to your
So it's
discretion.
up to the board.
Yes, of course.
Just to be clear, so that if you amend those recent resolution, what we'll be adding is that the people that weren't properly in term would remain on the board, right? And that's the only amendment from that new resolution.
Yeah, nothing else changed, it's just that. Okay, I see what you're saying. And then he puts whoever he wanted on there, the ones that are not term. Yep, okay.
So that is your motion,
Yes,
to amend it?
yes.
So, do you know how many that's gonna be?
How many are going to be coming on? It's going to be 4, perhaps 5.
4 to 5.
Yeah, there was 4 or 5, I know.
So the motion is, you're going to amend it to take off the newly appointed, leave the ones that they are, right? And then reappoint.
Just leave the resolution as it is and just amend those, yes.
Okay.
Leave the ones that are in term in there.
And just reappoint the ones that are out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or appoint a new member.
Yeah, he'll appoint
Okay,
those, yes.
right.
sir.
All right.
So it's, I mean, that's.
Does everybody
how we
understand that?
Properly fix it, is that what we're
Yes,
looking
sure.
at? Okay.
All right, we
How
have a
we
motion and a
properly
second.
fix
Any
it.
other discussion? We got one. Okay, if there's no other discussion, let's do a roll call on this.
Andy Ford?
Here. No.
Yes. You good?
Yes.
Okay. Bill Miller? Ella Blazer?
Yes.
Jason McMahon?
Yes.
Norman Smith?
Yes.
Jonathan Tinkland?
Yes.
Jeff Esslinger?
Yes.
Pam Bright?
Yes.
Wilma Ball?
Yes.
Rick Bassler?
Yes.
David Barrett? Tim Lehman?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Number 8, anybody have anything for Ms. Lehman? I do have a question before we move on. If the past board allowed the citizens of the county to speak for like, if it's 5 or 10 minutes before a meeting, let them come up and speak, do you folks want to continue that? It's your decision. Okay, so let's say 10 minutes beforehand, if anybody comes, if they'll let me know, then we'll let them speak. But they will stop at 6 o'clock. Okay? All right,
That's all I have. Anybody have anything else? We have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.